How's it going, everyone? So on today's video, I'm going to be doing a downpipe on an Accord Sport 2.0 6-speed. A lot of guys have been having issues with bolt snapping when replacing a downpipe, specifically the nuts that Honda uses. They're locking nuts, and a lot of guys have been having issues removing them. The studs breaking on a turbo, causing obviously a lot of headaches for people. So I'm going to be showing you step by step exactly what I do, and a special penetrating oil that I've been using. And I've done this probably a good 20 cars already or so, knock on wood. I haven't had any issues yet, so I'm going to go ahead and say that this method works. So if you're planning upgrading your downpipe, you're going to want to make sure you watch this video all the way to the end. I'm going to show you all my tips and secrets, and like this, you guys won't have any frustration when doing this. Like I said, a lot of guys have been breaking bolts and having a lot of problems, having to take the turbos out to drill out the broken studs and etc. So with that being said, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell, and comment below on any future content you'd like to see. Enjoy the video. Alright guys, so here we are. This is a Accord 2.0 6-speed. It's got just over 91,000 miles. So we're going to start off by taking off this intake inlet right here. Take this off. You got to take this screw off right here. Take these 10s off. I'm going to take it off right here. Already started doing it. And take off this clamp right over here. If you have a stock intake setup, it might look slightly different, but it's the same idea. Also going to take off this 10. And the one right underneath it. Once I get that out, I start taking off this inlet right here. We got a couple 12s down in here. Want to have it out, I'll show you where the screws are exactly. All right, guys. So over here, you're gonna have to take off this hose right here. You're gonna have to take off this 10, and this other 10 down here, and then you got two 12s that you can't really see. And I usually disconnect the waste gear right here, just so in case we don't pull none of the pins out or anything like that. Give it some more room to work with. I also took out the coolant bottle over right here, and I took off the neck for the windshield washer fluid. Just take off the clip and it pulls right out. Gives you all this extra space. I usually don't take this off, the holder for the coolant bottle, but if you want to, you can go right ahead and do that too. Alright guys, so then the tube is off. See where the two bolts would go, the two 12s here and here. All right. 1, 2, and this is where the 10s were for that hold the harness. So you got one 12, second 12, and the two 10s, and then it slides right out. All right, so now we're gonna start taking off the shield. These two screws, obviously no issue. Got to take out the top O2 sensor here. Disconnect it, and then you got the front bolt that holds the catch shield, the turbo shield here. That's kind of a pain to get to. And you got this one here, so you have 4 total 12 millimeters that hold that shield up. I'm gonna start taking that out, and I'll show you guys once I get to the downpipe. All right, guys, shield is out. Now the turbo bolts, you're gonna soak with penetrating oil, and I like to do this when the car is cold, ice cold, and let the penetrating oil soak overnight if possible. I've had the most success by doing this, so I would highly recommend you do that. You got 4 turbo bolts, so soak all 4 of them as best as you can. Let it sit for a couple hours at least, and car being ice cold. This is the bolt. I use a ratcheting wrench 12 to get to it. And then you got this one here. It's not that much of a problem. You got the top 2 here, so I'm gonna go ahead and soak it. Let it sit for a couple hours, and then get back to it. All right, guys. So while the downpipe bolts are soaking, you're gonna come down here, soak these as well. But these aren't as critical. You let for penetrators on. You're gonna take off 1, 2, 3 completely. You're gonna take off this one, 4. I'm gonna take off this one right here, 5, and then this one here you're gonna loosen just enough so it can swing over, And this one you're gonna loosen as well, just enough so it can swing over. Gonna loosen all those, and then make sure also you're removing the O2 sensor, downstream O2 sensor at this time. It's easier to break loose here than once it's off the car. So I would recommend you do that. If you want to do it once it's off the car, if you have a vise, you can probably go ahead and do that. If you don't have a vise, probably not going to have such a good time doing it. So go ahead and do that. And then we're going to move back up to the turbo bolts and get this puppy out of here. Alright guys, everything on the bottom is loose. Over here, as you can see, the bolts came out, no problems. Let it sit for a couple hours, crack them loose. This is the last one I'm taking out. Got the bottom O2 sensor out. So it looks perfect. These are the two right here that give you trouble. So 9 out of 10 times, if you do these while the car is even warm, it'll break on you. I got those. This is the O2 socket I use. The 90-degree cross foot type. We're gonna go ahead and pull off the downpipe now, and then slide the new one in. All right, guys. So here it is. PRL Cata downpipe. Got all the hardware there. Gonna swap over the shield. Put that puppy in. Put everything back together in reverse order. Get her out of here. Alright guys, here's the shield on our downpipe. Comes with these two spacers and screws. So this goes on the side that faces the turbo, the shorter one here, and then the longer one down here. These two tabs use the OEM mounting screws. Don't forget to take out this. Alright guys, so the downpipe is in. Don't forget, it comes with a bung for the Accord. You're going to have to plug this up because obviously the turbo has its own dedicated sensor bung right here. So I'm not sure if they do this with options to use it with aftermarket turbos possibly, or maybe this downpipe also fits or whatever it might be, but they do provide a solution. And just basically install the contract right here, plug that up, use stock location for the O2 sensor. So like that, we're going to try to use the OEM shield. See if it bolts on. It looks like it might. We'll get to that in a couple minutes, but yeah, make sure you put this on because your O2 sensor is going to go right over there. Alright guys, so quick note, for the bottom O2 sensor, there's a secondary bracket that bolts to the engine or trans down there, and I guess the PRL O2 location is slightly different than the stock one, so I removed that. So here we have a view from the bottom. Everything is all bolted up. This is where that bracket goes that I was talking about, right over here. So no tension. I'm happy with that. Shield fit, everything. Go back up, start up. We're done here. All right, guys, so there you have it. Like I said, I've been using this method for about 15 to 20 cars or so. I haven't had any issues yet. I make sure the car is dropped off the night before, or you start it early in the morning and give it a couple hours to cool off, especially in the hot summer days. If it's colder in the winter, you could probably, a couple hours to do it. But if it's summertime, make sure you cool off the turbo as cold as possible. Spray down the lubricant, the penetrating oil, and just let it soak for a couple hours. The longer, the better. I've done this, plenty of times already, and so far so good. So if you guys have any other tips you'd like to share, some feedback, like I said, once again, just comment below, and thanks for watching.